Hello science fans, welcome to a brand new adventure where we dig into the science behind the fuels that power our world. Today we're exploring ethanol, a fascinating fuel made from plants, not oil. You might have seen it at the gas station, but what exactly is it, and why is it becoming so important in our daily lives? Ethanol is a type of alcohol, but don't get any ideas. It's made for engines, not for drinks. In fact, it's the same kind of alcohol found in spirits, but it's specially processed and blended to help power vehicles. Think of it as a renewable plant-based fuel that helps power cars and trucks. It's blended with gasoline to create a cleaner burning fuel that's used all over the world. Unlike fossil fuels, which take millions of years to form deep underground, ethanol can be produced every single year from crops like corn and sugarcane. This means we can grow more fuel as we need it, right on our own farmland. Burning fossil fuels adds new carbon dioxide to the air, contributing to climate change. But ethanol's plant origins help recycle carbon in a more sustainable way, since the crops absorb CO2 as they grow. Ethanol production supports local farmers, creates jobs in rural communities, and reduces our reliance on imported oil. It's a win-win for both the economy and the environment. The plants used for ethanol, like corn and sugarcane, absorb carbon dioxide as they grow, partially offsetting emissions from burning the fuel. This natural cycle helps make ethanol a more climate-friendly option. It's not a perfect solution. There are still challenges to overcome, but it's a step toward cleaner air, healthier communities, and a more sustainable planet for future generations. In this video, we'll break down how ethanol is made, from the humble seed planted in the soil, all the way to the fuel pump at your local gas station. We'll explore the science, the crops, and the clever chemistry behind this renewable energy source. You'll see how biology, technology, and innovation all come together to create a fuel for the future. You'll see how innovation and sustainability come together in every step, from the fields to the high-tech refineries that turn plants into power. Ready to dive in? Let's discover how ethanol fuel is really made, and why it matters for our world. Lab coats on, figuratively of course. Let's get started and unlock the secrets of ethanol together. Making ethanol starts with the right plants. Biomass packed with sugars or starches. The choice depends on local climate and agriculture. In the US, corn is king. Its kernels are full of starch, perfect for ethanol. Corn is harvested, ground into powder, and prepped for processing. In Brazil, sugarcane rules. Its juicy stalks are loaded with sucrose, table sugar. Sugarcane is crushed to extract sweet juice, ready for ethanol production. Whether it's corn or sugarcane, the goal is to unlock plant energy stored from the sun. Preparation is key. Grind corn for starch, crush cane for juice. These steps set the stage for the chemistry ahead. Using local crops makes the process efficient and supports farmers. The right feedstock is the foundation for sustainable ethanol. Next, we turn these plants into a sugary soup for the next stage. Let's see how. Now, we need to transform our plant material into a sugar-rich mash, a crucial step in the journey from raw crops to biofuel. This process is all about unlocking the energy stored inside plants and making it accessible for the next stage. Corn starch must be broken down into simple sugars. Yeast can't eat starch directly. Starch is made of long, complex chains of glucose molecules, which are too big for yeast to digest. So, we need to break those chains apart. We start by mixing ground corn with hot water, creating a thick slurry. Then we add special enzymes called amylases, which are like nature's own chemical scissors. These enzymes act like scissors, snipping starch chains into smaller pieces. The process is carefully controlled, with scientists monitoring temperature and timing to ensure the enzymes work efficiently. After heating and cooling the mixture, a second enzyme is added to finish the job, converting the remaining starch fragments into glucose, a simple sugar that yeast loves. The result is a sweet, syrupy mash, brimming with glucose and ready for fermentation. This sugary liquid is the perfect food for our next ingredient, yeast. Sugarcane juice, on the other hand, skips this entire conversion step. It's already packed with simple sugars, thanks to the plant's natural sweetness. There's no need for enzymes or extra cooking with sugarcane juice. It's ready for yeast right away, making the process faster and more efficient. This shortcut is one reason why sugarcane is considered such an efficient crop for ethanol production, especially in countries like Brazil. Whether we start with corn or cane, andau or teens, the goal is always the same. to create a sugary liquid that's perfect for the next step in making biofuel. Thanks to advances in biotechnology, we can unlock even more energy from plants, making the process cleaner and more sustainable. Our mash is now prepped for the real magic: fermentation, where sugars are transformed into ethanol. Next, let's meet the tiny organisms that make ethanol possible. Yeast, the unsung heroes of biofuel production. Onward to the yeast feast, where the real transformation begins. Time for fermentation. This is where the real magic happens in our journey from plant to fuel. We add yeast to our sugary mash in giant sealed tanks, creating the perfect environment for these tiny organisms to thrive. Yeast are single-celled fungi, famous for making bread rise. But here they're the unsung heroes of biofuel production. Instead of baking, they're brewing up energy for our engines. In an oxygen-free environment, yeast consume sugar and produce ethanol and carbon dioxide. It's a natural process, but on a massive industrial scale. This process, called anaerobic fermentation, takes about 2 to 3 days. During this time, the yeast are constantly at work, transforming the mash into something entirely new. The tanks bubble as CO2 is released, a sign the yeast are hard at work. The sight and sound of bubbling is proof that fermentation is in full swing. The CO2 can even be captured for other uses, like making fizzy drinks, or used in other industries, turning a byproduct into something valuable. When fermentation ends, we're left with a cloudy liquid called beer, not for drinking. This industrial beer is the starting point for our fuel. This beer contains water, leftover solids, and about 10 to 15% ethanol. It's a complex mixture that needs further refining before it can power vehicles. To make it usable as fuel, we need to separate the ethanol from everything else. That's where the next stage comes in. Fermentation is ancient science now powering modern engines. From clay pots to high-tech tanks, the basic process remains the same. Next up, distillation. The art of separating the good stuff. This is where we extract pure ethanol from the mix. Let's see how we get pure ethanol from this mix, turning a humble mash into a powerful, renewable fuel. On to the next step, where science and engineering come together to finish the transformation. Our beer is mostly water, with only a small amount of ethanol. To concentrate the ethanol, we use distillation. Ethanol boils at a lower temperature than water, so we heat the mixture in a distillation column. Ethanol vaporizes first, rises up the column, and is collected at the top. The vapor is cooled and condensed back into liquid, now much purer ethanol. This process boosts ethanol concentration to about 95%. In some countries, cars can run on this 95% ethanol. But for most blends, we need it even purer. Distillation is the same principle used in making spirits, but on an industrial scale. We're almost at fuel-grade ethanol, but there's one last hurdle: removing the final bit of water. Let's see how we get to nearly 100% pure ethanol. The final purification step is up next. Stay tuned. At 95% purity, ethanol still contains water. Bad news for engines. Distillation can't remove the last 5% because ethanol and water form an azeotrope. Enter molecular sieves, tiny ceramic beads with microscopic pores. Water molecules are small enough to get trapped. Ethanol molecules pass through. This process filters out water at the molecular level, producing anhydrous, water-free ethanol. The sieves can be regenerated and reused, making the process efficient. Now we have ethanol that's 99% pure or higher, ready for blending with petrol. This final step is key for making ethanol a reliable fuel. From plant to pure fuel, modern engineering makes it possible. But what about the leftovers from production? Let's see how nothing goes to waste in ethanol plants. On to co-products and sustainability. Let's keep going. Ethanol production is designed to minimize waste and maximize value. After distillation, leftover solids from corn become distillers' grains, a high-protein animal feed. These are sold to farmers to feed livestock, turning byproducts into profit. In Brazil, sugarcane's leftover bagasse is burned to generate steam and electricity. This powers the ethanol plant and can even supply extra energy to the local grid. Using co-products makes the process more sustainable and efficient. Every part of the plant is put to use. Fuel, feed, and power. This closed-loop system reduces waste and boosts economic value. Ethanol plants are models of smart, sustainable industry. Turning potential waste into resources is key to green energy. Next, let's see how ethanol gets from the plant to your car. The journey isn't over yet. Let's hit the road. Pure ethanol is powerful, but most cars need it blended with petrol. At fuel terminals, ethanol is mixed with petrol in precise ratios. The most common blend is E10, 10% ethanol, 90% petrol, usable in nearly all modern cars. E10 boosts octane and helps fuel burn cleaner, reducing emissions. For flex fuel vehicles, there's E85, up to 85% ethanol for high-performance, low-emission driving. Ethanol blends are delivered by tanker trucks to petrol stations nationwide. When you fill up, you're using fuel that started as a plant in a field. This blend connects agriculture, science, and engineering to your daily drive. Ethanol is making our fuel supply greener, one tank at a time. The cycle from farm to fuel pump is complete. Let's wrap up our journey. We've followed ethanol's journey from plant to pump. Science and farming work together to unlock plant energy for fuel. Yeast, enzymes, and clever engineering turn crops into clean-burning ethanol. Nothing goes to waste. Byproducts feed animals or generate electricity. Blending ethanol with petrol reduces emissions and supports local economies. Ethanol isn't perfect, but it's a step toward a cleaner, more sustainable future. Researchers are working on even better biofuels from non-food crops. Ethanol shows we can rethink where our energy comes from. By harnessing nature and science, we're building a greener tomorrow. Thanks for joining us on this journey. Until next time, keep thinking green.